Hello everybody, I thought I would do the actual tutorial with my voice this time so I don't have to do all that work putting all the little title clips in there and everything else. You know, sometimes it's easier just to do the voice, right? So welcome. This is kind of a redo on my my mini blue purse that I did, kind of testing out the Gorilla tape that I used. I wanted to kind of see how that actually worked inside the crochet purse for lining, because I have made purses in the past for my girls. I actually use this razor to cut. It works a lot better than the scissors. But anyways, I've made purses in the past, but they never really had a great form, great shape. And I wanted to sturdy them up a little bit, firm them up, and I did a different project with some Gorilla tape, and I thought, you know what, that's probably a great idea. So anyways, I'm starting with this one. I didn't actually count. I don't know if you've watched anything on my channel, but I don't do patterns. I just kind of create original thoughts and I go with it. I hate patterns. They kind of stress me out. I've tried to copy other people's patterns on hats and anything, animals, you know, those little cute little, I know there's a name for the really cute kind of Japanese kind of Asian style animals that are really cool and like intricately done. Those are very stressful for me. So I actually made my own. So this one I'm guessing is about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, roughly about 20, because I know some of these are bigger, smaller joined. But I did go 40 just single crochet stitches long. That's my width. But the length up is about 20. You can, basically do whatever size purse you want. I am making this for one of my daughters, and she wanted it to be more of kind of a satchel, like a bag purse. So again, I did 40 single stitches going the long way here, and it's about 20 going up, which actually seems like it's more, doesn't it? But I always count my stitches singly. So you know what, if this is 40 this way, I'm betting this is actually more like 40 up here. Sometimes I count the rows. Yeah, so if this is 20, this is 40. So this is almost a perfect square, probably 40 by 40. Yeah, I'm terrible with patterns. I just like to create as I go. So this one I was just showing you is my first half that I did, and I'm going to replicate the other half. And I'm just, a little bit over half right now. I just thought I would kind of show you the preliminary beginning work. And again, these are just single crochet stitches. I think there's another name when you tie both of them through. And I just, for the life of me, cannot remember. My sister's a lot better at all of the terminology for crocheting and knitting. She's a pro and she can do patterns like nobody's business. I, however, tried to do simple hat pattern, and mine turned out to be kind of a Peter Pan type, really loose hat, and it was a big failure, epic fail. So anyways, this will be just kind of the part. I think I'm going to speed this up when I'm done here. So you can just see I'm going 40 single stitches across, and basically I think about 40 up. I think I always count these double when really these are 2 in 1. So yeah, if I went 20, that's 40. Again, like I said, I'm not a pattern precise person. I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, do it as I go, and just kind of create based on what I see. So these tutorials are very loose. If you're a really specific person and you like to have the exact measurements and names and terminology, I apologize. This is very loosey-goosey. So I'm going to stop speaking soon. These are my 2 colors, by the way. I'm using just kind of a neon pink and a pastel pink. But again, you can use as many or as little colors as you want. I'm using 2 because I don't actually have any other pinks that my daughter wanted in this purse. But if I had some other pinks, I probably, like my little mini blue one that I did a 15-minute video slowed down, and also a short of, if you haven't seen it on my channel, I used 4 different yarns, 3 blue and 1 white. So if you want to get a thicker purse done a lot sooner, just add more strings of yarn to it, and that will make it a lot easier. So basically you decide how many colors, how much thickness you want. My mini purse had 4, so it was a lot thicker, and it was actually a lot harder to do. I kind of prefer the 2 yarn thickness here because I can get it through on my, what is this one? This is an 8. The other one I was using before, which I don't have by me now, was my big green, and it's at least double the size. So it kind of depends on what crochet needle you like to use as well. So you basically make the rules. There's no pattern to follow here. This is just the basic idea of making whatever size purse you want. This is, like I said, kind of a satchel. My other one was a mini, but you could make a normal style purse, like a date purse. It's kind of what my next one I think is going to be for my other daughter. She just wants a little black purse that will match everything, and she only wants black. So I think I'm going to just have maybe just 2 strands of black again, like this one. And I know a lot of you can pull out through a lot easier. I do that sometimes too, but I think sometimes I'm kind of OCD. I like to go through one and then go through it again to make sure I went through. And I don't know if any of you are like that when you crochet. But otherwise, if you just angle it back, it actually goes through a lot easier. But I like to see both of them come through, and that's probably just a personal thing for me. If I'm not actually videoing and if I'm doing it myself, I go through twice. I go through, you know, once, and then I go through again just to make sure I got it through. Because I hate when I go back down the line and if I missed one, doing it like that, which is faster, but I have to consciously, you know, think of it each time and angle it, the crochet needle kind of, you know, back, which I think for the professionals or any of you that actually do it a lot more than I do, you're probably just like so much faster that you don't even think about it. It's like a reaction. But I don't do this as much as I'd like to. I don't have as much time, so it takes me a little bit longer. So I'm going to fast forward this part of it because I also need to get some more of my 2 colors here. So I will do a little time lapse for you, and I will be back with you soon. Okay, I am back to it. I think I finished. Now mine is a little uneven, so if you are someone who likes to get it exact, yours will look spot on, but mine's just a little off. Thankfully, it's just a gift for my daughter, and she is not going to care, and plus she'll never notice because once I sew these together, you're not going to see any difference at all. So I have my 2 pieces. This is the one I had already finished before that was roughly about 40-40. I mean, it's more of a rectangle and a square. I don't know. I've never been great at counting the lines because it seems like it should be more than that. So actually, if this was 20, that'd be 40. Anyways, whatever measurements you want, whatever size, just get them as close as you can to each other. I leave the top part, which I better flip this over, is the purse strap, and I have an idea with Gorilla tape that I wanted to try. So that's what I'm excited to try today. So I'm gonna just match what I did already, kind of generic here, but I left this much before. So I'm going to try to match what I did, if I can find it here, with my other one. And then, you know, you can always add that. That's no big deal, adding more or less to the strap. But for starters, I'm just going to add the same amount that I did for that one. So once I pull this out a little bit here, get a little bit more wiggle room. I'm thinking this I keep saying Google, that the Gorilla tape is going to really firm up the handle nice. That's what I'm excited about. I haven't tried that yet. This is my first experimentation with it. So here's hoping that it's going to be good. I think I'm pretty close. It's a little difficult when I'm going this way. If I put these together maybe. Sorry, this probably looks like a hot mess, but I'm trying to match the length here. So if I get it at least this way, that'll be plenty good. All right, so now I don't have my scissors by me, but I do have my razor blade, so I can cut the yarn with that, which is nice. Razor blades are kind of nice to have. I had them, actually I ordered one to do a project for my husband, and it's kind of nice to have that still around. So I'm just going to cut it at the end here, and then I can pull it out. I'm just going to give a little extra room. All right, so now we'll pull out part we don't need from our excess here. Hope you guys have some fun plans for the weekend. It's Friday for us today. I'm not sure when I'm going to get this edited and posted, but here's hoping I can maybe get it up tonight. Hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. I like to do something fun on Fridays. Have something fun planned, you know, always, but it's nice to have some things planned sometimes. All right, so let's just see how close we are here with our straps. These are really not, we're not going to deal with these yet, but I'm just going to get these close. I did save a little extra here, but I think I'm actually going to be short. So what I did on the other side is I pulled it through with one of my needles, which I have in here. I like to pull it through and just kind of tuck them away until I need them. So let's even this, and you can make it as long or as short as you want. You could make it even like a thick strap too, which would be cool as well. And this is going to get thicker. Careful with these razor blades too. I don't want any kids thinking these aren't sharp, because man, they are sharp, and I did cut myself a couple times. I'm used to using scissors, but wow, if you have not worked with Gorilla Tape before, this tape, let me tell you, this stuff is sticky, and it sticks to the scissors, sticks to everything. So the razor blade actually worked really nice for cutting it. All right, so when I did this one yesterday, I just kind of tied it in at the end of my other one. So right now I'm just gonna put this in the kind of the thickest part of the corner. And that way I kind of have it pulled through. And I'm not gonna touch anything with it yet. I'm just gonna kind of leave it as long as I have the length the same. And the nice thing is you can shorten it too, if you need to. So if you have a little excess, that helps. But at least I have the basic length. Okay, so now, before I put on the Gorilla Tape, what I wanted to do is to sew. You can actually sew or crochet. It's actually kind of what you prefer. As you can see, mine isn't exact. Sometimes I do my stitches really tight, and then I get them a little firmer than the other ones, so they actually look like they're smaller, but they're the same amount. So it's up to you. You can actually either, you know, needle your thread through, I mean, not your thread, your yarn, or you can crochet it through. I like to crochet because I feel like it goes faster, but the needle you can be more precise, so it's kind of, you know, pick what you like better. So I'm going to get my, I think I'm going to seal it up with the lighter because I don't think it'll show as much. The dark will probably show more, and my daughter likes pastel more than she does neon, so let's go with that. So these are going to actually go together. That's the easiest way for me to do it. And I'm just going to sew, not sew, but crochet sew the bottoms together. Just the bottoms. I'm not going to do the sides yet. And this is just going to be a single thread yarn. Boy, I think I should have finished my coffee this morning. And if you've used a couple of threads yarn before, man, I keep saying thread. If you've used them before, they're harder to go through, so I still use the thicker one because it's harder just to basically get through. Now, I'm never too precise on this, but you can be as precise or as imprecise as you want because it's going to be flipping inside out and you're not going to majorly see it, but you know, you'll see if one side is shorter or not. But sometimes it's hard to get through, so I just kind of go in where it's easiest to go through. So I'm just getting a starting base here on the end, and I'm just going to try to go every loop. I really want this purse to be firm and sealed at the bottom. The nice thing about the Gorilla Tape is it's going to line the inside of the purse so that really nothing can fall out anyways. So this is just getting it tightly woven together. And you know, if you want, sometimes I go through one and then the other one, or I shove it through both at the same time. It's kind of what you feel like in that moment and how much time you have. If you don't have a lot of time, just shove it right through. wiggle, wiggle, shove it through, because you're going to be folding it. That one I pulled right out, but you're going to be folding it and you're not even going to see it. So just get your stitches as close as you can. And like with mine, I'm not exactly on with my length, so this will probably help me kind of hide that. My daughter will never know. Sorry, honey. It's not perfect, but it's made with love, and it's an original design, and you know, mommy made it, so I think that's the perk of this whole purse. It's a keepsake, and she'll always have it, and know I made it for her, and it's a color that she'll hopefully still like even when she gets older. I actually used to like pink a lot too, but as I've gotten older, I've changed, and now I really prefer blue. But you never know. I liked pink for a long time. All right, I might speed this up for you too, so you guys don't have to see every little stitch here. I did do this about 3 times, twice, and then I backed over it again just to be safe. So do it as much as you think you need to make it feel secure. And it is hard to go through sometimes. That one, I tucked it in so tight I came out there. So just kind of get it in. Some of you better crocheters will have an easier time with this, but it is definitely thick from the double yarn stitch. So I will speed this up for you, but I'm going to do this 3 times. I'm going to go there and back again. Through here, I might actually use my other one. Try using. Okay, I'm going to try using my 3.5. What was that one? That was like an 8, I think. Yeah, I have a couple here, but I'm going to just see, now that I've done the first single crochet stitch over it, it's not as hard to get through, and I think the smaller it is, it's going to help me get underneath this and have a little cleaner stitch. I was a little more meticulous last time when I did this in my blue one, so I don't want to get too sloppy and lazy. So if I can get a little neater in here, you know, and if you are not opposed to using a needle, that would work good too. It's just, I know I tried to go in with a thinner crochet needle last time, and it was tough, but I think that's because I had 4 threads. So this one I'm only going into 2 yarn thread. I said it again. I'm only going into 2 today versus 4. So, you know, try whatever works for you. You don't want it to be too hard, and that was a little hard going in with that 8. So I'm going to use this 3.5 and see if this is easier. And I mean, I might even use the needle next time. It would probably be a lot easier. I have done a lot of, you know, intricate kind of things with the needle when I'm making original, you know, purses or animals and things, because you can get a lot more precise in your design and look, and it doesn't look so messy. But the nice thing about this is we're just making the seam of the purse at the bottom, and it's not going to be seen at all. We're going to flip it inside out, and we're going to tape Gorilla Tape on it for the lining, so you're never going to see it. So it absolutely does not matter what this looks like. We just don't want it to come apart. We want it to hold the weight of whatever you put in this purse, and that's all you have to care about. So I will speed this up. Just wanted to clarify that I'm using a skinnier one here if you're crocheting it, and actually this probably would have been easier doing a needle, so up to you. You decide what you would like to do better. Okay, I am done with the bottom of the purse. So I'm going to tie this off, or cut this off. Actually, I forgot I have my little fold up scissors in my kit so we can actually cut it versus the razor blade, which is nice. So now I'm just going to leave these ties for now. I always do those later. So this is going to be our bottom. So either way you want to flip it. Oh, it can almost look like a book, huh? You can flip the pages of a book. That'd be kind of a good idea too. I'm sure somebody's probably done it on YouTube. I haven't really researched too much on that. I tried to not look for ideas that I'm thinking of myself because I want to be as original as I can and not copy or imitate or, you know, let everybody kind of have their own stuff, their own designs. So this one is all me, all mine. If someone did it, I know nothing about it. Okay, so I am going to Gorilla Tape this inside lining, which actually I suppose I probably am going to want to tie these off now that I think about it, because I'm going to be Gorilla Taping over. So if you have any loose, I don't know if you can see this in the frame here, any loose strings, just knot them up, tie them up. You can always, you know, take a needle too. A lot of people will take their needle and weave it through. That's another way you can do it. This is kind of my quick lazy way, but if you needled, you know, the thing through it, you don't even have to tie a knot. But I don't mind a knot being in here because I feel like it kind of firms up the purse. So once I knot all these, we'll get rid of these. And I only have this other one here. So like this one, I'll show you how you can just put it right back into your work here. You have a nice big eye of the needle, it helps. And that did not go well. Always cut the end, that's always helpful. But this you can just weave right back into your work and you don't have to knot. So for any of you who don't know, just kind of go through it, pull it through and just keep going through it a couple of times. And that's basically is all you need. It's as good as doing a knot. So if you don't want to have knots or bumps in your work, just knit it all the way through. This works really great with animals and stuff too. I always put the ends into the faces. So just pull it tight, a little looser, and then you can cut it right off and you don't have to worry about that coming out or unraveling. So a couple different ways you can do it. Depends how much time you have and what your mood is. Depends on my mood if I'm willing to do extra work or not. Okay, so let's Gorilla Tape. This is what I was looking forward to doing. I'd only done a little bit on the mini purse. I'm gonna actually tape over the whole inside of the purse before we close it up. And if you wanna just see kind of what it looks like, it really, to me, mine's a little crooked. You could probably get this a little better if you took time, but I kind of rushed it. But the Gorilla Tape really makes a nice firm bottom for this because otherwise there's just no shape. It doesn't have enough shape for me to be like a purse or bag or a satchel. So we're gonna give it some shape with this Gorilla Tape, which we're using a little bit more today because, oh yeah, it's hard to get this open. Just heads up, it's harder because, I mean, we're using more, I should say, because it's a bigger area. But if you're making like a little mini purse, you're not going to have to use this much. So I'm gonna try to use the razor. That always seemed to do a little bit better than the scissors because it's stuck. But whatever you feel safe using. And I do want it to be a clean cut, so I'm gonna try to cut that. I don't want that to show. Now you don't have to go all the way up to the top. That's what I was planning. I want a nice kind of even line at the top. So just go as far as you can to make it enough of a lining, but you don't want it to show on the outside of the purse. And I tested this Gorilla Tape with the little one I made and it actually sticks really good. But I'm gonna kind of go around the bottom just a little bit to reinforce it. Already it seems like I got one side bigger than the other, but that's okay. Oh, not going for perfection. If you are, more power to you. So then just cut a nice clean line on the other side to match, because this will be the inside. And this actually cuts pretty good with this one. I tried cutting with my other scissors before and it kept getting stuck. But I don't want it this high, I don't want too much showing. So I'm gonna cut it down like a ½ inch, like the other one, so that you have a little room to see the outside of the purse. We're not trying to hide the whole crochet yarn of the purse, but we want it to be sturdy and we want it to be formed, like have some kind of a shape. Well, that was a really bad cut. I don't know, is that gonna drive me crazy? Is anyone else OCD? Would it probably be wise to cut it off before it's taped down? Because now I'm gonna get shorter and shorter. Don't you hate when you do that and it just gets shorter and shorter and shorter? So it is sticky, beware. When I was using this tape, I was using it on cardboard and it cut really good, but it's a little harder to cut on the yarn. So this could be a little putsy. This will probably drive me a little crazy trying to get this precise cut every time. So I think I am gonna razor blade the whole piece before I even put it down, so I don't have to cut on the purse. So you get the general idea. We're gonna lay this Gorilla Tape inside the whole purse to be the lining and also the shape. So I might just kind of eyeball this one so that I can cut it, you know, really sharp. This one's gonna be all right. And then this one, pretty close. So this razor actually cuts nice and sharp, smooth. I don't know if you can see that from here, but it cuts pretty slick. So it doesn't have to be exact. I guess it depends on who you're making it for, but because I'm making this for my daughter, I don't have to be exact. And I am gonna go over it just a little bit because I want the Gorilla Tape to stick to the Gorilla Tape. That's gonna be a little short. Saw that happening. My daughter doesn't care about it too precise. You can get this real precise if you want to. Now when we fold it in, it's not gonna, we don't have to worry about this part sticking. I know on my mini purse it had a really nice bottom, and this isn't as thick as I would like, but it still gives for that nice thick. See how thin and kind of flopsy this is? When you put that Gorilla Tape, it almost like it just doubles the size. So that's what I was looking for. And it kind of helps to have something waterproof if you spill. You know, I got girls that like slime and makeup and all kinds of things, so they're not gonna wreck this because this is not washable. You'd have to hand wash this and nobody's gonna do that. So if they spill a pen or food or something inside the purse and it's lined with this Gorilla Tape, this is waterproof. They can just take a little wet wipe to it, a little rag, and voila, they're done. So that was kind of my thinking. I wanted it to be somewhat cleanable because, you know, we're kind of clumsy in our family. So just as long as you go over the tape a little bit, just enough to stick really. I'm gonna roll it out this time since I was off before, so I can try to be a little bit more on, and I'll probably just cut to this area. Let's see if I can do it while it's on here. Yeah, I guess if you're really careful and not to cut the crochet. Yeah, it's a little better. I'm probably gonna have to just go back and cut this one, but do I dare even do it now? I'm probably gonna have to cut the other ones too. Are any of you as OCD as I am with this kind of stuff? This is where it can suck all your time away. So if you have someone who doesn't care about the lining being exact, I guess I wouldn't mess with all this, but because I'm doing it for all of you, I guess I want it to look as good as I can, possibly. And don't worry about this not staying down in the beginning, because when we fold it up, it's gonna be forced to be down, you know, gravity, just gonna pull it in. All right, so I think I'll time lapse this part for you so you don't have to be bored of my precise. All right, I am just pressing this in as much as possible, trying to get it to stick to the Gorilla Tape that's overlapped and also to the yarn below. It's really sticky, so I mean, careful when you're handling it. If for those of you who have not used Gorilla Tape before, Used it a few times. I love it for everything. It's such an easy patch for just about everything. And I love that they have so many colors. I thought the white would be kind of nice and light and bright. And you can kind of see things in the purse. Wow, this really does actually look like a book as I'm looking at that. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it, to make like a big book? Okay, so here we have our binding. You can see on the bottom here how much thickness it gave the purse. And you could even go thicker. Like I said, if you use 4, yarn versus 2, it's going to be a lot thicker. This is going to be kind of like a satchel bag where you can put books or journals or that kind of thing, school stuff, whatever. All right, so now the only thing we have to do before we work on our straps is actually work on sewing up the sides. I think on this one I actually am going to needle because I want to really go around this Gorilla Tape, and I feel like it's going to be hard to crochet. I don't think I'm going to get my crochet around this. I have not worked with this Gorilla Tape, so you're going to have to bear with me. Besides making my little mini purse, and that one I just flipped inside out. That was really easy, but I was just kind of testing it to see if it would work. So I think we're going to forgo the crochet needles, and we're going, crochet needles. I guess it's needle and a needle, huh? That's basically the same terminology, and I think that's my biggest one. So I am going to use this, and we are going to sew up the sides of this purse. I will fast forward this for you, do a nice time lapse so you're not bored to death. And again, I think I'm going to do the lighter color to go through. Seems like it doesn't show as much as the dark would, and she likes pastel better than she does neon pink. So here we go. Let's see how this is. Actually sewing it. Well, I don't have to do my I'm actually pretending I'm doing my crochet needle, but I'm doing literally a needle. So we're just going to put it through the eye of the needle, leave some ending, and let's sew this up. I'm going to start, I think, from the bottom up. Actually, no, I'm going to start at the top so I can keep it even. So for those of you who are like me, who are not going to be using a pattern or counting, you're just kind of eyeballing it basically, I think it would be probably better, wouldn't you agree, to start at the top? So we can keep it together, because the bottom you won't even know. You won't be able to tell. So I'm going to start from the inside so I can hide my yarn on the inside. So get a nice long piece. This is the purse strap here, getting a little messy. Push that out of the way. So I'm just going to get a really nice long piece to start, which you do kind of have to pull through, but you know, is it worth it? If you're making something you really want to be nice, I think so. All right, so we have our beginning on the inside so we can hide the entry where the needle comes in, and then I'm just going to kind of weave through to the other side. I want to kind of keep it up top here for the first one to pull this in. So I'm going to probably do a couple at the top. So you are going to have to kind of pull in. This is where patience comes in. Unless you want to make it shorter, you just have to keep retying, but I don't like extra string. I don't want a lot of extra yarn that I have to hide. So far I only have this little piece, because this is our purse strap right here. So I only have this little piece. If I keep doing it all the way, you know, along the line on the bottom here, it's going to be a bit more of a mess for me to tie up, and I don't want that. So I don't mind pulling it. I normally put on a movie in the background or listen to some good music, whatever kind of passes the time for you. This is going to be a little interesting. I think I might actually crochet sew this right through Gorilla Tape, because it's really close. And I think I'm gonna let it show on the outside, because otherwise our white tape is gonna show, because I really got close to the side here. Oops, I already got a knot. As you see, I don't often needle. I do a lot of it the crochet way, but I was trying to kind of keep it nice and cleaner looking. But then look, you're gonna run into problems like this. It's like you pick one way, it's easy in one perspective, and then and another light. It's harder than the other way, so you know, pick your poison. Pick which one you want to mess with. I'm going to try this though. I'm just kind of curious to see how the binding looks on the side because we're not flipping this inside out. That's what I love about flipping things inside out is you can't see it like here. But on this side, we're actually going to see it. So I think if I'm going to overlap, I want it to actually go over. So I might do overlapping method so that it's intentional, that it's actually going to show the pastel pink on the outside to kind of cover up the Gorilla Tape. I think that's going to be the winning look. And I am actually going through the Gorilla Tape. So, yeah, that'll really kind of seal it up. And maybe, you know, keep it nice and solid. I hope it doesn't break, you know, the tape over time. You know, kind of weaken it. I'm not sure. You guys know more about Gorilla Tape than I do. I know it does last a long time. The sticky definitely, and it is definitely waterproof. That's what I love about it. And it's just so sticky. So you get your money's worth. It does cost a pretty penny where tape's concerned, but it feels like everything costs so much right now that what's the difference, right? It's just kind of a fun hobby to do, and I like to make things for people to give to, especially family and my kids and friends, and it's fun to make original things, let people know you care. All right, so I should probably do a time lapse of this too, so you're not stuck with me this whole time, but I'm just gonna go down, get as much as I can going down the first time, and then I'm gonna come back up and kind of fill the holes. Like right here, you can see how I already have a little gap, so I have like 2 or 3 right here, and then there's a little space here, and I'll probably get some as I go down. I'm not gonna worry about it when I go down, but when I come back up, I'll clean it up and fill the gaps with the pink, so none of the Gorilla Tape shows. Here I go. Okay, so I am done with this. I did it once, then twice, and then I kind of just went through the binding. You can kind of see it really small, but it's not too noticeable. It just kind of looks kind of bunchy, and I'm okay with that. I don't have to worry about it being too precise. I just want it to be nice and sealed, and that it is. So that's kind of how it's going to look. Not perfect, but it looks sewn enough. So this is kind of how it's looking here. On the inside, you can just barely see the Gorilla Tape separation. So now I'm going to do the same thing I just did here on the other side. So I will forward this for you so you don't have to sit through and watch it. And we'll see what we have when we're done. Okay, I've just cut off the ends on each side where I sealed the sides, and I actually tucked it in inside and then just cut the string inside. So I left kind of a super tiny thing in the corner that you won't even be able to see. That's how the inside of the purse looks, which I feel actually looks more like an official lining. You can see that there, and it's nice and neat. We didn't have to bend it or flip it inside out. So now what I'm going to attempt to do, now that we have our basic purse bag here, is I am going to make gorilla straps for the purse. So we're going to use what we have from our last thing here, which I think I untied part of this. Part of it, I think, is just the ending here. We're going to get it kind of the same length. And I think I might have pulled this out. I think this one's actually shorter than the other one. So we're just going to cut some of this off once I get it in here. I just need some of the yarn to tape around. And the rest of it, I am going to actually, I'm trying to figure how I want to do this here. This part I think I put in before. Yeah, I'm gonna fold the Gorilla Tape around in a circle, and that's gonna be the inside of the strap to make it feel like a real strap. And this is really frayed, so I'm gonna cut these off, get a nice clean cut here. It's hard to get two in at the same time, and I could do them singly, but I'm not that patient most of the time, so I'm trying to get them both in. And then I'm gonna tuck this in the corner so it's gonna stay. Ooh, it's a little harder to get through. I don't know if you noticed when I time-lapsed it, but getting through this Gorilla Tape is really thick with the needle. So I'm glad I did the needle instead of the crochet, because there's no way I think I could have gotten through. And I think I went through a knot here too. I'm really stuck. Oh boy, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, so let's try to get enough of a strap here just to do our little gorilla strap. It's not gonna be a huge strap. It's just gonna be like a shoulder, under the arm kind of strap. I can always tighten this one down because I left that one loose. So I think I'm just gonna keep it at kind of a really tight underarm shoulder strap. Let's pull this a little tighter, or is it this one? Okay, so maybe we'll call that good right there. Close enough. So get your desired length of a strap, and that's what we're going to put the Gorilla Tape around. Just going to kind of knot around my edges here, and you can put this in any way you want. Easiest thing is to use the needle at the end, because crocheting the little ends are a little harder. And you can tie knots too if you don't mind them showing. That's what I did with my mini blue one. I kind of just tied the knots on the actual strap, and you can just cut them off like a little pom-pom and just leave them. Whew, yeah, this is hard to work through. You're gonna have to wiggle if you actually are going through the inside here with the Gorilla Tape, because it is thick. So don't hurt yourself. I'm trying not to hurt myself as well. A little clumsy. I don't know about you, but I am a clumsy one. So once I wiggle this through, I think I'm gonna call her good for getting this secured. And then I'm going to cut it off, because the Gorilla Tape is what's going to really hold it together. So if you have any ends to tie off, let's knot them. That's what I typically do. So I'm just going to knot the two separate colors here. And it doesn't really matter because it is so bumpy on the sides already. And this is just going to hide inside the Gorilla Tape is kind of my plan. That's my thinking anyways. I'm hoping that's gonna work. So let's tie the light and the dark together. Not that that really even matters. It's not even gonna show. But we don't want things to unravel after doing all this work, right? We don't want it to have to be fixed up later. All right, so now we're gonna take our Gorilla Tape, and I am going to fold it inside out, sticky part out, in a roll, and kind of work it around. I think I'll just get a piece loosely. I'm going to kind of sort of measure it as best as possible without it being stuck to it. That's about half, and maybe another half here. I think I'm just going to cut it. You can always cut off the extra, so give yourself a little extra tape to work with, and be careful, it is sticky. Alrighty. So I want to, all right, I'm gonna put the plans I had in my head into actual real life. So I wanted to roll this around, and I think the easiest way is going to be just to put it upside down. If you have an easier way, once I show, feel free to do that instead, because I'm not sure if this is going to be the easiest way. But I want to have it in the middle. And then I'm thinking I might have to do another layer of Gorilla Tape. I wasn't quite sure. And I'm just wondering if I want to do, oh, so I got something stuck in my teeth. All right, let's just fold over part of this here and get our preliminary, because I'm thinking I can crochet pretty easily over this. I'm gonna do kind of a flat rectangle and then crochet over it. So we'll obviously be hiding this Gorilla Tape, unless you actually like it, or if you had a colored Gorilla Tape, that would actually be kind of cool. But I only have white, so I'm not really wanting the white part to show. I think my daughter would probably prefer all the pink to show on the strap, is my guess. So I'm going to be crocheting over the strap. So once we get it on the end, let's cut that off. And it shouldn't matter too much because we are going to be crocheting over it once we're done. All right, I'm going to save this tape for later. You never know when you're going to need it, right? All right, so once we get around here, we're going to tape it all together, and that's going to be kind of what we crochet around. So find your easiest way to do this pretty much, and then wrap it around your initial thread. Boy, I just cannot call it yarn today. That's what happens when you do not drink all of your coffee in the morning. Ugh, let me get through it. There we go. Another piece. All right. So let's get our third kind of wrapped around, and then we can just wrap around that final part. Just gonna kind of secure the strap. And then we will crochet around it with a nice kind of rectangle, flat mixed pinks. I'm still gonna do 2 yarning strands, one light pink pastel and one more of a neon. So you can kind of see as I'm folding this in, it's pretty basic. We're just kind of wrapping it basically. It's a third of it wrapped over. As long as you don't have any sticky on the outside, I think that's going to be the best thing. You just don't want it to be sticky anywhere. So right now this looks like an actual purse strap. Actually, it looks kind of like faux leather, doesn't it? When it's actually folded over skinny. That doesn't look bad. I don't know. I mean, I guess you'd have to like kind of that raincoat purse look. It's not terrible, but you're always going to have the seam. Yeah, I mean, it you know, it could be cute. I think I'm personally just going to go over it with my crochet part, and I want to kind of weave in the crochet strap around the end to kind of hold this in, because there's not a ton of thread in here. Yarn. Sorry. That's going to be the death of me today. All right, so now I am going to get to work on making crochet single strand mix of the light and dark pink, and then we're going to basically flip it around it and then just sew it on. That's kind of what I thought. So I'm going to pause the video and get my stuff ready for the next segment. Bear with me. All right, so I am going to get some yarn, double yarn, ready to go to make a single crochet rectangle, if you will, to wrap around the purse strap to kind of reinforce it and match the style of the purse, yet give some sturdy durability and shape, just help it form into a purse. Crochet tends to kind of wilt if you've tried to make anything. The purses I've made so far technically were kind of like little, kind of olden day, like little satchels. I think that's what they used to call them. The period piece movies, they're really, really flimsy. So I'm trying to make this a little firmer because I'm not sure what my daughter's going to put in it. So I want to make sure. So I'm just doing my loop, the standard loop, and I'm just going to do, you know, I'm not even sure how long I'm going to go. I'm just going to actually go until I measure the length of the strap. So I guess depending on how long you do your strap, make your single crochet initial necklace here. I forget, there is another name my sister used to call this, but basically your braided single crochet, you know, it technically looks like a hair braid if you're not familiar. And then you just count each one of the little braided crocheted yarn as a stitch, or crochet, single crochet. So many different things people call it. My sister's got a bunch of names, and I think I knew it once at one time, but I don't do it enough to stay on top of it, so I just know it from eyeballing it. So forgive me for not having the correct terminology. Anyway, so just measure it to be the same length. That's all we're looking for, because we're going to widen it, and it's just going to basically wrap around. So get it to the same length as your strap, you know, loosely. You want to have a little extra, because I'm going to actually sew it into the purse to really make it firm. So make sure you have it longer on both sides of the purse, you know, at least maybe an inch or so, so that you can really make sure the strap is connected to the purse. So no matter what you put in it, it's not going to pull out. And definitely going to sew it versus crocheting it, because it is thick with that Gorilla Tape, which is nice. It definitely feels sturdy and it feels solid. And then I won't have to be fixing this up later, because she went out and used it and it broke. So let's hope we're firming it up enough. So get to the length you have of your strap, whatever it is. It's kind of nice. You can just kind of wing it. Just keep eyeballing it as you go. I don't know if you can hear, but they're actually doing some fireworks still here. Pretty crazy. The following weekend after the 4th. Let's see, I think was it the 11th today? But it was a rainy 4th of July. For us, I'm not sure about you guys, so I don't think people got to get the fireworks out of their system. They didn't get enough time, so they're making up for it this weekend. I'll probably speed this up for you here, but I'm pretty close. Just want to get enough around to have kind of a loose crochet. I'm really close. So once I get the desired length, I'm just going to crochet right back into it and make, like I said, a really long strap, you know, a rectangular shape that is just going to wrap around. I can actually crochet it around the strap itself, but when I'm attaching it to the purse, I'm going to sew it to make sure it's really solid. So as long as we get enough around, I think this is going to be good. Kind of eyeballing it here, but that should be plenty. I just want to make sure I get some into the purse here, right there, and some here. So I'm going to call her good with that. So now I will definitely fast forward this for you. I'm going to go right back into it, into the first little braid I have here. For those of you that don't do it, I'm just going right into this first little braid, a single crochet. Each one of these little folds is where you go back into. So I'm just going to double it. So I'm going through two yarns, the pinks, 2 different colors, and then I'm wrapping it around and I'm putting both of them in. So I think, I don't know, is that technically, you can let me know below, is that technically a double crochet even though I'm only doing one spot? I want to say, because I'm going through 2, it's a double, but oh man, I am just not one for remembering every single rule. But because I'm going through 2 of them, I think it technically is. Either way, so you have a loop on here, and you're just going to go through each one, and you're just going to keep thickening it. This is how I made the purse. It's just a basic crochet. I'm not skipping. I'm not doing 2 in 1. I think with a double, you would go like right back into the same loop. Maybe that's double crochet, and then it makes it wider. But I don't need it wider. I want it to keep the same length. So I'm just doing 1 single crochet, and I'm pulling the loop through both of the loops, if you will. All right, I will speed this up for you, and as soon as I have it thick enough to wrap around the strap, I will slow it down in real time, and we will see how easy the strap gets sewn around and how it looks. And hopefully it looks better than it does just like this. Here's hoping. Okay, I am going to, I think, just tie the ends here that I have. I think I'm wide enough now to cover the strap sufficiently. So we'll just cut it nice and close, tie off your ends. It's kind of nice having 2 strands at the end versus 1, because otherwise you have to just knot the 1 strand of yarn. So it's kind of nice having 2 yarn. So this is the thickness I'm going with here. If you want it to be really thick, feel free to do more. I'm trying to kind of wrap this up here. So I think this is the thickness that's going to work for me. So I'm going to fold it in half because I want even amounts left on the side of the purse. So I'm going to fold it in half and then angle it basically kind of halfway. And I'm just going to start crocheting it. Oh, I had a little moth in there. Crocheting it in the middle because I'm going to tie off the ends. Really doesn't matter where you crochet it over because I'm going to go over a couple times. So I'm just going to start in the middle because I want to end on the sides. And I do have some purse attachments left over that I thought I might kind of put on the end part, you know, kind of cut it so far or maybe fold it back. I got a couple different ideas. We'll kind of see what looks nicest. Anyways, let's just get some yarn to crochet. I think instead of needle, I'm going to use a crochet needle instead of just a pure needle. So I'm going to put it halfway between and take my crochet needle and just kind of eeny meeny miny mo. I'm going to get it through here. And again, I'm going with the lighter pastel pink, but pick whatever color you kind of want to show more. And then just continue to go around, looping as close as you can. I mean, I'm not the best at getting it perfect. I'm just going to kind of go as close as I can. I just want this gorilla strap to be sandwiched basically nicely between here. And I kind of want some of the strap to show, but not all of it. I want there to be enough crochet yarn to kind of hide it. So depending how much you want to show or don't want to show, you can leave more room. I'm just going to go 1 strand because I don't mind it showing a little bit. I just don't want all of it to show. And then depending how it looks, if it looks like it's finished with 1, I'll leave it, but I feel like I'm probably going to go at least twice over through it, maybe even 3 times. You know how us women are hard on our straps, right? We're definitely hard on them, and I don't want it to break. And the nicer I make it the first time, and I might even go a little deeper in here. I don't know, but then I kind of started it light, didn't I? Oh, see, that's always my problem. I think since I started just taking it really light at the end, I'm going to do that first. I'm not going to go too far down. Just kind of keep it one loop. So make it as close or as deep as you want, you know, farther away. Farther away you go, it's not as strong, but the farther down you go, deeper, it's going to take away from the crocheted look of the purse, but it will be underneath too, hopefully, so shouldn't show too much. All right, and then I will fast forward this part for you too. I'm just doing 1 loop on each side and joining it through just a regular single crochet. Okay, so I'm tying off this end here, the first one. I'm just leaving a loop at the end because I'm thinking I'm probably going to sew it so I can get a nice clean, you know, bind around here. That's what you want to call it for the purse. So I just cut the end off once I covered the Gorilla Tape in here. which I think is going to look nice. So I'll leave that for now. Now I'm going to work on the other side and just crochet just like I did before, the ends in here. But I think it's looking nice. I'm going to probably have to fix the sides now that I kind of pulled it here a little bit too. As you can see, I got a really short piece here and a long piece here. So I can either make this a little looser and a little wadded maybe to kind of even it up a little bit, because it would be nice if they were both the same length. Ooh, and I got some moths tonight in here. I have so much light in my living room, and I think they're getting through the air conditioner. Gotta love those summer moths. Okay, so maybe I will start at crochet right around here so I can kind of tell, there's another moth, if I'm keeping the right distance. So I'm going to keep the right distance on both sides. Similar, you know, count so many down. Oh, it's almost 10. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just kind of has to look uniform. I guess I can always push it down once I get there. So I think I'll just go back to here and keep crocheting until I get to the length I want, and then we'll pull it out, and then we'll sew this on and add our little purse ends, and we're gonna be, I think, good to go. I think this is looking nice. I think this looks nicer than the Gorilla Tape, and it's definitely very sturdy. I like how sturdy this feels. This is shaping into a nice strap. Okay, I will fast forward this part for you so you don't have to waste any time seeing the obvious here. I'm getting a lot of knots too. All right, thanks for hanging in with me this far, especially with all these moths. It's gonna be nice to turn off these lights when I'm done. I forget how much they love the light at night. So I'm just gonna continue on the other side now, crochet it together, and then I'll slow it down when we're gonna sew. We are done with our threading of the pink pastel yarn. I'm gonna go to threads now, literally thread. I can finally say thread versus the yarn, because I'm going to go for the more precise. Oh boy, that's gonna be right in the middle. I'm wondering if that's gonna show or not. I'm just kind of bending this thing around because I like how the bottom is pink versus the middle. Kind of is like the rim of it, which is kind of nice. So actually, if I turn it around, let's see here. Seems like it should go easily around, but I did kind of turn it as I was doing it. Well, anyways, get your strap kind of flat with your Gorilla strap tape inside. Just kind of get it to be wherever you want this, you know, end binding. I kind of want mine on the inside like this. Feels like it's organic to the way the purse design would be, in my opinion. IMO, right, as they say. Okay, so this is gonna be the final look. And I feel fine with the amount on both sides. It's even enough for me. I don't know if you can see it there. That's a little bit better picture. So even enough. I'm gonna just sew this with the yarn eventually here, and then I'm gonna tie these together. I already tied this part of the strap off, so now I can either kind of weave it through or hope and pray that it stays there and just cut it in the middle, or just kind of tie it one more knot and then just cut it really short. We'll see how that fares. You can't really tell. Again, this is just a fun little purse for my daughter, and hopefully, I don't know if you can see all of that, but I just kind of tied it. Nothing big, but the strap feels nice. It looks nice. I don't know if you can tell how thick it is. Feels like it's got some durability here. Like it could actually hold what's in here. This feels good. So now I'm gonna take my pink yarn and basically just sew this in here with a needle, because it is just too hard to crochet it. So we're going to get our big needle again. Get one that's not too dull. I think I put one away too. These are a little dull. I'm going to go for the ones that I had before and sew that in there. This one's actually pretty sharp for being big. So I guess we're not actually done with this yet. I'm really anxious to get to my little brown purse hooks. That's going to go basically on the front and the back of this just to keep things sort of in there. Whoops, I'm trying to crochet when I actually just need to get this through the eye of the needle here. So let's get the side of this strap affixed nicely to the purse, and then we can get our final piece of resistance, which will be the connector hook to kind of keep things from falling out of the purse, and that'll make it look a little bit more official in my opinion, make it look more like a purse. All right, so I'll fast forward this for you so you don't have to watch as I stumble through sewing this neatly together. I'm just going to gather it kind of like I've done everything else. I'm going to leave this on the inside so it doesn't show, but I'm just going to kind of loop this together, and I'm going to try not to go through the tape if I don't have to, because I don't want to leave a mark. So I don't mind the pink showing because I like the pink look. I'm just taking half on each side so you can kind of see half of it on each side, and that's going to be nice and even, close enough. All right, and I will forward this for you so you don't have to watch all of this little sewing. Okay, so I have finished the sides as you see. Now I'm going to use this little hook attachment. I'm going to sew it on here like so. I actually like how it shows. You can actually hide it if you don't want to show it, but I actually like it. Probably be a little harder. And then I'm going to put this here so that you can actually shut the purse so that things don't fall out of it. So what I typically do is I connect it first to make sure it's got the right length, and then I just sew one down. So I'll probably sew this one first. And I'm just going to sew it with some brown thread and the classic needle, which I think I have in here. Pretty basic. I'm going to just sew right around the lining, and then I'll flip it over and sew the other side. So I will fast forward it so you don't have to watch in real time, and then we'll take a look at the end and see what you think. Okay, so here is one half. Ooh, these moths are just crazy tonight. So I have one half sewed on. It, does show on the other side. It's not, super perfect. Hopefully the stuff in your purse is going to kind of cover that, as long as it looks nice on the outside. Oops, if you can see that. I'm going to turn it on this way, huh? So this is the one half, and then this is the hook that's going to hook through on the other half. So now I just have to sew the other half on amidst all these terrible little black moths. So I'll just kind of flip it over, get it so it's nice and tight, and then I can take this out knowing that that's going to be the thickness we want, and leave some room because you are going to be putting stuff inside of it too. So you want to be able to open it a little bit, kind of, if you get these attachments. I just ordered these on Amazon. And I believe they were just called purse hooks. I might, if I remember the link, I'll put it below my purse video. So if you wanted to order these same things, they have black too. I'm saving black for my other daughter's purse because she wants all black. I figured brown kind of goes a little better with the pink. So now I will fast forward. I'm just going to sew this on the other side, and then I think we're going to be done. I feel like this is good enough, and the moths are driving me crazy. So I think we're good. As you notice, I was using this Gorilla Tape actually, and part of my scissors to get the needle through. It was really hard to get through the Gorilla Tape and this at the same time. That's probably the only downside, I guess I would say, is going through this little faux leather thing, and also the Gorilla Tape inside was pretty difficult. You know, maybe if you had a stronger needle, it would go a little easier, but I needed something really sharp. So mine was pretty thin. Maybe if you used a bigger one and it wasn't dull like this one, it might go in a little better. But if you got something to press it on, I remember doing this with a different purse I made too. It was kind of hard getting this through the material. Just depends how thick. But these are really nice. And if you have a sewing machine, I don't own one. I don't even use a sewing machine. If you have a sewing machine, you could just sew this right on, and I bet it would go right through, easy peasy. So anyways, I will fast forward this part of it for you, and then we'll take a look at the end and close up this video. Okay, I am officially done with this. I'm just going to show you kind of this to scale the purse or give you the size. We're going to put a book in here. It's kind of an 8x11. We're going to throw in a phone, and that's kind of how it fits in there. If you can see, we'll bring the light in a little bit. So this is basically how it turned out here. This will keep things in from falling out, you know, primarily bigger things. Little things might fall out, but we got a nice strap that feels a lot sturdier than it would if it was just crochet. Yet it's kind of bendable. You can kind of move it either way, depending how she wants to wear it. Want it on the side or on the edge. And yeah, I feel like it's durable. It's got a nice shape, and it's going to be held without the Ma's here. And hopefully you're able to make one yourself and make it the size that you like, color you like, and you know, use more Gorilla Tape if you want. And I think, you know, if you wanted this to be a little firmer, kind of like that Blue Mini one, and maybe a little wider bottom, you could just increase the amount of yarn that you did from 2 to 4, because 4 really made it thick on my mini purse. That's all I feel like I would probably improve on one of my next ones, just to make it a little thicker bottom. But this is a nice handbag. It's kind of a nice thin sleek one, and I think my daughter's gonna like this. So thank you so much for watching, and tune in for my next purse. I think I'm gonna do a black one next time, kind of more of a date purse, but yet for my daughter. So it's just kind of the classic black purse, and maybe some different ideas I'll throw into that one and see if we can't try something new. Thanks so much. Have a great night.